Well, hello, dear viewer. Thanks for visiting my YouTube channel or salesandmarketingforyou.com. That's my Twitter feed right there. That's my smiling mug. And the most important thing that you need to remember is that you is the most important word in sales and marketing. So I thought I'd make one of my ghetto productions with regards to how to use Twitter. I've been using Twitter successfully now for a couple of years in as much as figuring things out. I wrote some articles on social media marketing and internet viral marketing, and basically, if you take nothing away from this talk today, here's what you need to realize. Twitter is a social media, a social medium. Facebook is a social medium. Tumblr and Reddit and all of these kinds of social bookmarking sites, social media sites, and so on and so forth. Everything that has social in it, you need to realize that it is not a promotional platform. It's not a business platform. It's not a formal platform. You don't simply go onto Twitter and then start promoting your wares just like you do with a billboard, or just like you do with a nice print publication, or just like you do on TV. With TV, in fact, you'll see the most successful advertising, and with billboards and so forth, you'll see that nowadays advertising in general and marketing has a social flavor. Social meaning the friendly neighborhood approach, the guy next door. The way I describe social media to my clients is that I'll say, if you were to show up at a party and start handing out business cards, what good would that be? If you went to the regular networking event in a business forum or in a business setting, that might be one thing. But still, if you're just a robot handing out cards, that's how you appear to be on social networks. If you're just sending out, hey, check out our latest yada yada, or so on and so forth. First of all, you have to have the nice friendly neighbor approach. You go to a party, it's a prime networking opportunity, because people don't have their guard up and they don't want to hear things about just business, business, business. People want to relate to you and to your brand on a one-to-one basis through shared commonalities, shared lifestyle, talking about things of mutual interest. So if you're in the nail business, you build nails, then you want to talk to carpenters about carpentry. You want to talk to builders about building. You want to talk to developers about developing. And then your whole thing of selling nails becomes obvious. If you say interesting things on the social forum, people will immediately go to your profile or immediately ask the question, who is this person? And they'll find out for themselves that you sell nails, and they will ask you themselves. It's what Gary Vaynerchuk, one of my mentors, super powered internet marketer with like over 1 million followers on Twitter, who through the grace of God or some such thing, through an act of providence, he follows me on Twitter. I sent him a tweet once with one of my videos and I said, need some love, bro, and he just followed me. So he's a really stand-up guy, and he's written a book called The Thank You Economy, which means that you interact with people, you add value, you answer their questions, you point them in the right direction, you either entertain them or you provide them with some interesting information or something of use or value, and the person feels grateful towards you and says thank you, and then they become interested in you, and he calls it the thank you economy. I totally recommend that you pick up one of his books, either Thank You Economy or Crush It, and so on and so forth. So basically what we have here is a quick synopsis of some of the things that I just want to talk about with regards to how to use Twitter. Now, I want to say right off the bat that this is not a be-all, end-all kind of discussion. Anyone who says, oh, the 5 things you should do on Twitter, or the 5 ways you can crush your company, there's no end to any amount of strategizing. What I'm trying to say is, how to use Twitter is an endless topic. And these 5 so-called comprehensive bullet points that I've come up with might even be encapsulated into one bullet point, and then there's 5 other points like that, and then all of that, you know what, it goes on forever. There's people like Joel Comm, COMM, whose Twitter Power book you should pick up and take a look at, or people like Shama Kabani, The Zen of Social Media Marketing. These folks that devote their whole lives to this. I'm just some guy with a few thousand followers on Twitter, no idea how I got that many, that kind of thing. And, some things I do work, and I just want to point you in the right direction. I've been able to drive traffic to some of my videos. I've been able to redirect traffic off my blog and grow followers and things of that nature. So, the first thing is tweet. Obviously, that's the thing. How to use Twitter. I'm assuming you can, you know how to use a keyboard and you can set up an account, right? Don't do anything fancy in the sense of something that might be misconstrued, like really fancy colors and all this kind of stuff. You saw my Twitter feed. The colors are from my website. I might tone it down, but that's just my personality. And on my website itself, I have this emblazoned kind of sticker that says unorthodox works. That's kind of my mantra. I'm not into the whole, suit and tie and polished shoes and all this kind of stuff approach. I'm into what's working, what's going on, how does this make sense, how can we add value, and how can we deliver what we're doing, what we say we're going to do as marketers, which is customers. I can write you plenty of fancy brochures, I can write stuff for your website and so on and so forth, but my promise to you is if I work with you, I'm going to want to learn more than anything else. More than money, I want to learn from the experience, and I want to help you grow your metrics, whether that's, people in your store, visits to your website, people signing up for your newsletter, so on and so forth. And if I can deliver you an additional delta of customers or whatever metric you're measuring, then I deserve to get paid. In any case, I've already talked about tweeting. You can go and read my articles on social media marketing and internet viral marketing. Basically, EIU, let's just come up with an acronym. Entertaining, interesting, or useful. People say, well, you can have a personal account, or you can have an informational account, or you can retweet other people. Listen, whatever you put out there should be entertaining, or it should be interesting in some other shape or form, or it should be useful. And interesting, you might as well call that industry related as well. I mean, something pertaining to the lifestyle and values that your set of products and services embodies. So putting out tweets is a simple thing, but you're not going to, this is a misconception I think people have. They think that I open a Twitter account and I start tweeting really great stuff, interesting, useful, or entertaining stuff, and people will suddenly find me and flock to me. They will find and flock to you if you do the following things, which I'm going to get into now. The first thing is what Gary Vaynerchuk is a master at, which is interacting. So social media, once again, is social. Social is all about interaction. Social means that you're here as a marketer and your customer is here. And it's not just that you're sending a message from yourself to your customer, but your customer gets a chance to react or respond, and therefore a cycle of communication is opened. And all of this, by the way, is called building a relationship with your customer, and that's really the name of the game. If you're still worried about selling stuff, and if you're still worried about promoting your message to as many people as possible, you've missed the name of the game, which is building a relationship. So Gary Vaynerchuk has 1 million followers, and if you go to his timeline, and if you go to @Gary VEE, Gary VEE, @Gary VEE. If you go to Gary V and start putting comments on his posts, there's a good chance you'll get a reaction out of him. As I mentioned, he followed me. He went to my video or my website or something, or he saw my profile or something. I have no idea. And he followed me. So you're interacting with people. So you're putting out tweets and you're using every opportunity to interact. And by the way, one of the ways you interact with people is through search. So search is one of the most and I learned this from Gary Vaynerchuk, by the way. Search is one of the most powerful functionalities on Twitter. You go to the search icon and then you put in your field of endeavor. Okay? You put in marketing, or you put in project management, you put in developer, you put in, builders, or whatever your product or service is. And you can also use hashtags. Hashtags are very important. I'll come back to them in a second. When you pull up, what you should try and do is, ideally, I'll jump to the next step, which is follow. You should find and follow the leaders in your field. Find and follow leaders in your field. Read their tweets, interact with them and their followers, and use the search field to stay on top. And you can put in, once you get savvy with Twitter, you can have auto alerts when anyone tweets about a specific thing. The hashtag is essentially another way of promoting yourself and finding people. So if you put in hashtag something, you're going to get a more precise search, because let's say you're in the construction industry. If you search for construction, you might get one set of results. And if you search for hashtag construction, the hashtag simply is a statement saying this conversation is about construction. So you put out a tweet and then you put a hashtag construction at the end. What it means is two things. First of all, people who are searching for construction-related activity on Twitter and interactions will find your conversation potentially. And then when you're searching for something, you put in not just construction, but you put in hashtag construction. And you can use as many hashtags as you can in the 140 characters. Now, on the other hand, there's some people that just put out a tweet that will be just hashtags. And that's just a promotional thing once again. That tweet is neither entertaining or interesting or useful. All that tweet is a banner to people out there saying, hey, come check out my profile, come check out my timeline, I'm interested in so on and so on and so forth. You might say, for instance, if you're a nail builder, you produce or manufacture nails of different sizes. So you're interested in the developing community, as in building developers, builders, developers, construction people. You might even be interested in property management people, superintendents. You might be interested in realtors, for example. And you can put all those hashtags in there. Hey, this is a great neighborhood, but look at this beater upper. I wonder how blah, blah, blah. And you don't mention nails at all. It's obvious that you're interested in the bigger picture and you're going to be drawn into conversations with more of those kinds of people. So I very much recommend, if you go out and do one thing, read up about the search functionality in Twitter and figure out how to use hashtags. If you're just sending out tweets without hashtags, like a lot of big brands do, I see it all the time. Like someone like, let's say, General Motors, or actually Mercedes, I believe they use hashtags in their tweets. Most big organizations, they might have 1 million followers, like some of the news outlets, BBC, CNN, so forth. They have 1 million plus viewers, and they don't even use to think hashtags. They're just playing in their own little pool. They're not really bringing in outlets to increase their followers. They're increasing their followers through a generic kind of word of mouth, kind of ongoing branding mechanism, but they're not using the power of Twitter itself to increase their Twitter following. So, who do you follow? Follow people you're interested in. Follow people you find entertaining. Once again, entertaining, useful, or follow the leaders in your field and interact with the leaders in your field. And what begins to happen is, as Joel Cohn points out in Twitter Power, people begin to gravitate towards you. And some of these people will start following you. There's you, Mr. Marketer. Some of these people will start following you and interacting with you, and so on and so forth. I've got eSearch, and so you can see that I'm totally out to lunch here because I've already talked about search. But what I'll say is this. The second part of your search might be an online, one part is your Twitter search. Perhaps what I was thinking here, because I made these notes a couple of days ago, I admit, and I've already said that this is not a comprehensive list. So if you get caught up on the fact that C is search and E is search, then I'm sorry if I've lost you. However, this is your Twitter search, and this is your general online search. You might say something like that. So I'll uncross this in my mind and say the following. Go online and Google the top 100 people or the top 50 people in your field and follow them. Find out who the leading tweeters are in your field and follow them. Study their timeline. See what kind of tweets they're putting out there. Look at the fact that they're responding to lots of people, just following their footsteps. It says, there's a saying that success leaves footprints. And so you just want to get in with the people who are essentially the leaders in your field. One of my failings with my Twitter account, I'll just point out that I'll tweet about everything from health and fitness to cooking to atheism, proofs of God, wisdom, spirituality, and then once in a while I'll throw out something on sales and marketing. It's a miracle I've got 4,000 or 5,000 followers or whatever. I had 7,000 followers at one point. My focus is all over the place. I'll just tell you, that right now. I've got like books around here that I want to get published. For example, I've got ongoing projects. I've got all these movies I need to watch. There's my beautiful $5,000 Brendel projector. I'm into art, all kinds of different crazy stuff. So I'm just giving you some tips. And the very last thing, if there's other stuff, put it in before. The last thing you want to do is promote, which is pay Twitter money. Once you have your brand up and going, once you have a significant following, once you have a significant message, once you know what works and resonates, all of that, then you put out promoted tweets. A promoted tweet shouldn't just say, hey, follow us for XYZ trinket or whatever. I mean, that's the lowest form of offer when you're just begging for something. A promoted tweet just simply says it could be simply a regular one of your tweets, and a good tweet that's resonated and gotten a lot of retweets. Promote it, which means that Twitter will put it now in front of, instead of your few thousand followers, it'll put it in front of tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands or whatever kind of demographics you're looking for, whatever geography you're looking for, whatever kind of profiles you're looking for. But it'll put it in front of far more eyeballs. Promoting at the end of the day is the last ditch effort to put your message in front of millions of people. But by the way, you know what? Advertising doesn't work anymore. Social advertising works. Regular promotion doesn't really work. If you say, we've got the best car in the world, we're giving you this great deal, look how fast this baby goes, and you've got all these amazing edited production, super high-powered TV production quality ads of your product and people using your service and it's Superman and all this kind of nonsense. If you are missing one and one thing only, you're going to bomb. And what's that thing? It's personality. And it's called being social. It's called being approachable. It's called being friendly and intelligent and just being a regular human being. Your brand is the personality of your business. I just wrote an e-letter about that. And a lot of people... it resonated with quite a few people, and I'll put it up there again. Your brand is essentially a personality. It's the personality of your business. It's not your logo. It's not what people think of. What people think of your business, you can't control. But what you can control is how your business is seen in terms of the personality of your business. It's kind of this concept that you can never quite hammer down and you're always working on. And it's like they say that you're shooting towards, obviously, excellence, not perfection. So I think I've said everything I need to. Wrapped it up under 20 minutes. Twitter is not just about tweeting, but when you do tweet, make sure it's entertaining. Make sure it's industry related or interesting, and make sure it's something useful. One of these three. It doesn't have to be all of them. And you can retweet people, you can send out games, you can send out funny things from time to time, totally unrelated, but it's got to be one of these three things. Interact with people, both by replying to people who respond to your tweets. Be social, build a relationship with your customers. It's a cycle. And by the way, one of the key things is Twitter as a platform, you don't own the platform and you don't own the message, right? It used to be that you own the message and the platform, and then you lost the platform, and now you've lost the message and the platform. Those of you who know what I'm talking about have probably read Marshall McLuhan, that the medium is the message as well. But in any case, interact with people both through your own tweeting and by searching out people in your field, searching out conversations, follow those people, try and get into the loop, and just keep on going. Keep this cycle going. And ultimately, the promotion thing, instead of crossing out search, I could have crossed out this chunk. You don't need to promote at all. That's the power of social media marketing. So if you have any comments, I'd love to hear from you. My name's Hussein Zaidi. You can visit my website at salesandmarketingforyou.com, separated by hyphens, and my Twitter feed once again is Samulus Remus. People wonder what that is. It's basically sales and marketing, which is SAM, and the rest of it is just some gladiator stuff that I came up with. Goodbye for now, and I do appreciate your comments very much. Bye bye.